Hi everybody. We had a walnut video about collecting and drying out the walnuts so they crack a little easier, and then putting them up. And we expected to be putting out a video in November, but then a lot of life happened, and here it is February and we still haven't started cracking the walnuts. So this is as good a time as any. The walnuts will last for a year in the shell. You might lose a few, but they last pretty well. So this is our cracker, and I think this is Grandpa's Goody Getter, and it's a great machine. You don't have to have one of these machines. There's a few other good walnut crackers on the market, but please don't think that you're going to be able to crack a black walnut with just a little hand nutcracker or one of those wooden ones for Christmas. You're going to need something that is made to crack these black walnuts. They have a really hard wooden shell, and so here's how they work. You push the handle down. You put the nut in, pointy end up. You see how this end's pointy and this end isn't. So pointy end up, and then you let go of the, and now you got a lot of mechanical advantage without much slack, and that allows you to turn this, and you'll notice this plunger hardly moves at all, but it moves down with a lot of force. And then do it again until this thing starts to disintegrate. Now if you look, that's pretty thick shell. These aren't the walnuts that you buy in the grocery store. And so what you'll have here is, we call that the walnut meat. And 5 gallons of walnuts will make about 5 cups of meat. So you need, when you're doing this, you'll need 3 vessels, one for the walnuts you haven't cracked, one for the meats, and one for the shells. And you just kind of pick through it after you've crushed it properly. And if we hadn't cured these out in the sun for a few weeks, they wouldn't be hard, and they wouldn't kind of shatter the way this one did. And just look at the shattered pieces there. So yeah, if you have a black walnut tree in your yard or something, it's a great way to forage for food. We put these mostly in scones and in our morning oatmeal. And then every once in a while you'll get a dud, and here's what a dud looks like. See how it's just like empty paper. And so usually if there's no such thing as a partial dud. If it's a dud, it's probably not worth trying to dig any little piece out of. You don't really have to worry too much about these crackers with a big mechanical advantage getting your fingers, because they move so slowly. It happens almost in slow motion. And so we're digging the meat out of the walnut. And that right there is all we've accomplished so far. The dog's barking. It'll usually take me about a half an hour to get a cup of meats. So this is something that if you don't enjoy doing it, you know, you're not gonna make money selling cracked walnuts to anybody. And I like foraging. I feel good about foraging, and even though I get duds sometimes like this one, but you know, we forage mushrooms, we forage ramps. I can't wait to do a ramp video. But we forage walnuts and sochan and some other things. We'll be posting all of these. Oh, this is a good one. And you know, you don't use a whole bunch of fossil fuel, you know, running your rotor tiller and things like that, like you do in the garden, and or like I do in the garden. Maybe you don't. Oh, I probably want to show the parts of this, if I can open one. Just for the sake of vocabulary. Let's see if I can do this. So this part here, this meat that I'm pulling out, that's called a quarter. If you can get two of those stuck together, it's a half. And then right at the top, there's another part, and hopefully I can find it if I didn't crush it. Yeah, right here, it's split in half, but this part here is called the crown, and the crown is worth taking out, but there's not going to be a lot of meat on this one because it's it was split in half when I cracked it. But yeah, these are, you know, like I said, you know, you're not going to make money at this. You know, don't think you're going to sell cracked walnuts at the farmer's market. But you can make some food, make your oatmeal in the morning interesting, or however you want to cook them. And if you get used to the flavor of black walnuts, you won't want to go back to the English walnuts that you buy in the grocery store. Well, thanks for listening. You say testing 1, 2, 3.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Now I'll say testing 1, 2, 3. Turn over here and say testing 1, 2, 3.